Gary mentioned John McClain before, and John is one of the key members of the Texas Sports Hall of Fame Selection Committee, one of the most senior, certainly. And people ask all the time, who picks the classes for the Texas Sports Hall of Fame? And the answer is the Selection Committee, which is comprised of media people from all over the state. And it's truly an honor for me to serve on that committee, and I'd like for my fellow committee members to stand up and be recognized, please. John's still here. Christy Scales is out here. I know a number of you there we go in the back. Denny Freeman, our chairman. Good to see y'all. Now, Texas has certainly received national acclaim as the state that has no equal when it comes to producing legendary coaches. We've obviously got some up here tonight, and our next inductee has no equal, and this past week got a street in her hometown named after her. Watch the screen.
While Kathy Self Morgan is well known as one of the top high school basketball coaches in the state, she was also an outstanding athlete, and in fact was one of the first women to receive an athletic scholarship to the University of Texas back in 1974. Playing for Coach Jody Conrad, Self was a member of the UT Women's first nationally ranked team in 1977. She dove into the coaching world at Austin Westlake High School, where she won 3 state championships and was named Syntex Coach of the Year 10 times. Now the girls coach at Duncanville High School. For the past 18 seasons, her Pantherette teams have never missed the playoffs and have won 5 state championships. Entering her 40th season, she has a career record of 1,100 wins and only 207 losses. She has been selected to coach the Texas High School Coaches Association All-Star Game 5 times, the McDonald's All-America Game twice, and the Jordan Brand Classic. She has been named Coach of the Year by Max Preps, Dallas Morning News, USA Today, the National High School Coaches Association, the Texas Girls Coaches Association, and she was selected as the National High School Girls Basketball Naismith Coach of the Year. Kathy Self Morgan chalks up another victory, this time as a member of the Texas Sports Hall of Fame.
Hall of Famer Kathy Self Morgan.
All that was yesterday. Today's today. It's great. It's wonderful. Tomorrow, we got to get after it. We got to work. You know, when Cooper started calling me in July and only left a message, he was from the Texas Sports Hall of Fame, I had no idea that media and all these people were so involved in such an unbelievable organization. My husband and I are going to come to this more often. This is a great celebration. I just had no idea. So when he was calling and leaving messages, and I started brainstorming, he must want me to nominate some people for the Texas Sports Hall of Fame. Let me see. Let me start coming up with names. Finally, we connected in August, and he said, "Congratulations." He said some other words, but I kind of went blank, like, what did he just say? I was stunned and speechless, which doesn't happen very often. When he told me who else was in the inductee class, I was even more catatonic. I think he thought the phone went dead. Today, while I stand up here amongst all these sports legends and heroes, I can only say one thing. It's their fault that the weather is almost freezing on April 7th. I think that throughout these stars' lives, they've told their opponents they were going to be Hall of Famers one day, and those haters said, "When hell freezes over." And this is most definitely not hell, but we are suffering the cold from it. I grew up in a very small town south of here called Jourdanton, Texas. I have middle child syndrome. It's not contagious, but it does happen. I saw my older sister Mary as beautiful and perfect in everything she did. My older brother Mike, well, he was the boy, he was the son. And my little sister, Judy, was the baby, and of course, she got everything she ever wanted. I was taller than most of the boys at school and skinny, and I had very low self-esteem and self-confidence. I had no choice but to hang in there and just do my absolute best every single day in everything that I did. My high school coach I had from 6th grade through 12th talked me into playing basketball and getting involved in athletics. All of a sudden, I'm being picked to play on the boys' team because I could rebound and give it back to them to shoot. I gained self-confidence and self-esteem through athletics. I started believing so much in what athletics gave me that I wanted to be a part of the same thing my high school coach was and give that back to young ladies and help them to become independent, self-sufficient women and confident and have high self-esteem. In Jourdanton, in school, on the farm, in my family, the boys and girls were all treated the same. We all had the opportunity to be a part of so many things that were bigger than ourselves. I never knew an inequality until I went to college and was told that there's a small girls' gym down there with no air conditioning. There's the boys' competitive gym, the huge one with air conditioning. We drove our cars to get to games during those days. That was in 1974, right before Title IX. Or we packed in a van like sardines as we watched the boys walk into a leisure charter and go off to their game to play. I never called myself a women's liber, but I learned then to fight for well-deserved rights and fairness. And in the 41 years that I've been coaching, I teach and I coach and I influence all the young ladies in my life the same way, to expect equality and fairness, but never take it for granted. I've learned you just do everything you can to be the best daughter, the best student, best friend, best teammate, best teacher, best mentor, and best coach. I have tried to be the best wife, mom, and Mimi, which the last three sometimes get less of my time. Even though I have not been the best at all the above all the time, I've never quit working at it. You just keep doing it again and again and again, because that's all you want to be, is the best. I will never take for granted that day in 1978, my first job, first day at school, and this young lady called me Coach Self. I mean, I just got shivers and goosebumps and was like, wow, I've hit the top, the best of the best, to be called Coach Self. It's never been about the fame, ever. Oh, that's nice. But it's never been about the fame. It's always been about these kids. It's been about what the game gives our young ladies. I want all the young ladies I've ever coached to learn to be independent, self-sufficient women. Someday, I'm going to say I gave it all I have, and if I'm falling in my grave, I'm going to do it with a smile, because that's all we can do, is always give it everything we've got. I'd like to thank my best friends from high school, Barbara Dornett Christian, for pushing me to be the best, to just try to beat her out of position when we were in high school. My best friend in college, Retha Swindell, who owns the most rebound record at UT, because she rebounded my shots and gave it back to me so I could shoot some more and she could rebound some more. Thank you, Retha. My high school coach, Carolyn Williams, for opening my eyes to athletics and seeing something that I couldn't see in that tall, skinny little girl. My coaches at UT, Rodney Page, for giving me a chance, Jody Conrad for coming my senior year, and for both of them giving me the opportunity to be a part of something that's taken off to be equal to men, and one of the best things that we have going in the nation and in the world. My best friend in Austin for years and years, and the person who nominated me for this award, Susan Zinn Blackwood, who is home with pneumonia today. Poor baby, put her in your prayers. My former assistant and best friend, Alicia Walker. My best friend and school counselor that helps me keep our players in check and keeps their grades in place, Chad Fitzgerald. Longtime Pantherette supporters that have been with Jack and I for 18 years, Royce, Tammy, Nancy, Don, Cliff, John. My former players that are here, Lee, Tierney, April, Destiny, Lamoya, and thanks to all I should also say my daughters. Corey, Kristen, and Lee. They were also former players of mine back in the day. And thanks to all the girls that I've had the opportunity and been blessed to coach in 41 years. I'd like to thank my current coaching staff that are here: Tierney Thomas, April Zachary, Destiny Castillo, and Stephanie Cooper. My daughter Kristen, who grew up in the gym, on the school bus, in the training room, and in the locker room. She'd be hiding around the door in the hallway, and when she saw me coming out of my office, she'd run into the gym, and all of a sudden I'd hear balls bouncing. So she was always the lookout for my teams. I'd like to thank her husband Steve, and two of my grandbabies that are here, Kyla and Jackson. I'd like to thank my daughters, whom I was blessed to come into my life as my daughters 18 years ago, Corey Regan and my grandson Ford. Her husband Dan couldn't make it. My other four grandbabies could not make it. They're up there playing hockey and doing whatever else you do in 5 foot of snow. I'd like to thank Lee and her husband Sean and the two grandbabies they left at home because they didn't need to be here. Charlie and Harris. Most of all, I'd like to thank the love of my life, my bookkeeper, my clock keeper, my announcer, the music man, my date every Tuesday and Friday night, my partner, Jack Morgan. I'd like to thank the Texas Sports Hall of Fame for this honor. I'd like to thank God for having us all here and healthy. I'm truly humbled and honored to receive this evening. Thank you very much. Thank you. You don't want me to take that and finish it for you?
No, well, if you want. Yeah.
Yeah, I told them I'd finish it for them. They did name a road after me called the Kathy Self Morgan Way, and I said, you should have named it My Way or the Highway, and they'd all know who that was.